Happy New Year's to everybody up out there. I hope y'all having a wonderful day. Hope y'all had a good night last night. That everybody was safely with loved ones and didn't get in any trouble. Before we start the video, I just want to say this ain't your coaches and pros, your X's and O's. This is the fans' point of view of what we know. So let's go. Now, you can hop on Google right now and you can type in defensive coordinator, and what you're going to find is Charles Kelly's face leaving Colorado. Colorado's Buff fans, some are, a lot of them are speculating who are we bringing in. Some fans are saying it's no big deal, us losing Charles Kelly. They're pointing out the flaws. And I must say this, that and I know I'm going, and I know a lot of people may not like what I gotta say, but hey, if you're liking everything I'm saying and you're agreeing with everything I'm saying, I'm not doing something right, am I? Now the fact of the matter is, the little things that get on my nerves is you're not pointing out flaws in people until they're leaving or until they're done with the school. That's when everybody's pointing out flaws. Charles Kelly was fine in Colorado up until he took the job at Auburn. Now I'm just being real. I'm just I'm putting it out there. I'm just saying things that people are not saying. However, I do see that Coach Sanders takes an extremely amount of hate and dislike of how he runs things and what he's doing with his team. Now, but I do see another side to where this is just out of hand, and it's like, okay, now we want to point out that he let up a lot of yards per game and we can't have that, and this wasn't working and that wasn't working because he didn't have that. Now, be fair, and if you're going to talk about things, then talk about the things when they're happening, and if you're going to be positive about the things, then remain positive. Don't bash the man for taking a job at Auburn. Obviously something was going on at Colorado to where he didn't like that. There was a dislike. There had to be. And it's just life. It happens in life. All right. It happens in life. Everybody goes through things, and there was something that was going on in this particular up there in Colorado that Charles Kelly was not okay with. Now you could speculate on a lot of things, but the most thing that you can look at and you can really just know, and just common sense and just reading between the lines of what's going on, is that maybe certain players shouldn't be on the field as Charles Kelly is evaluating for his defense, or maybe he's putting the wrong people on the field, either or. But he's up out of there. Him and Coach Sanders both sat down and they talked and they agreed to disagree. And he said, okay, I'm moving on. Because Sanders said, that's fine. Good luck to you. And that's just how that went. But however, nothing was wrong with him up until he took a job somewhere else. And I'm here to call the BS. I'm not okay with that, with pointing out things when people are moving on or saying negative things about people when they're deemed to move on from there, rather than just going with it and just staying with the positive vibes. And the easiest way the simplest way I could put it is the delusional takes and the delusion that comes in with following the team. Okay. But at the same time, I get it. Okay. You're upset. You lost Charles Kelly. We don't know what exactly went into that. I do want to speak on the brighter things of that. Who's coming in to replace Charles Kelly? This is a problem. It may not be a big of a problem, depending on, are they going to early enroll? Are they done in the transfer portal? The transfer portal should be already done because January classes are coming up soon. Don't have time to rebuild to help these kids come in and learn a whole new system. So now you have to look at it in the common sense way, and just look at it in a logical way of everybody who was on the defense of Charles Kelly last year now have to learn a whole nother defense this year. And the coordinator has not been announced to the public. Does not mean that he's not there working with the players, but still, if it hasn't been announced, then you have to assume that he's not there working with the players just yet. Now it's January now. Now you got a couple more months up until the new season starts, spring ball, until spring training comes in, and then we're back out at another college football season. And that's not looking good. It's just not. Let's be honest about that, people. It is not looking good as far as that goes. From that point of view, the fact that you have to learn a whole nother defense. Now, going to the Big 12, it will help. But how much will that help going to the Big 12? I mean, you have great playmakers on the back end of that defense. Great playmakers. I think that a lot of people think that, a lot of CU Buff fans think that they need linebackers really bad. And if you need linebackers and you're running a whole new defense underneath linebackers and you need linebackers, what's going on? Now, the defensive line has improved tremendously through the portal on paper as we see it right now. But now everybody has to get back on the same page. And that is the biggest thing right there. That is a big problem. However, Coach Sanders is just taking this and running in stride and saying, okay, when one thing changes up, got to change with it, and I got to make the best of this opportunity. Now, who does he bring in? It has to be a heavy hitter. It cannot be just an average name to pull in more revenue or some other person to draw more tickets, because they don't need that. They got that in Coach Prime. The ticket sales is already sold out. They went through the window, whatever again, and you don't need that. You don't need any more star power to gaze upon the team or watch the team. You need a guy that's going to come in there, put something together, a great critical thinker, somebody who has experience that could come in and win now. You don't have time for nothing else up there if you want to win now, and if they want to make the push that they want to make. That is the fact of the matter that's going on up there. But when you start to look at the way that it's shaping up to be, you're like, okay, can we really make a good run at this? Now, I told you before, now I did make a bold statement last week and the week before saying that I don't really see anybody beating Colorado, and it's hard for me to say that anybody is going to beat Colorado. Well, that changes things now for me, and I'm going to explain why that changes things for me right now. That changes a lot with me because of the fact of the coordinator not being there, not being announced. It's January, classes are earlier, rolling starts now, and you're relying on the portal again in order to bring in players. But you can bring in whoever they want, but if they can't run that particular system that they're going into, that becomes a problem. When you have, and it shows the lack of discipline, well, it will reflect that on the field. It will reflect on the field as a lack of discipline because people are out of spot, they're missing plays, which put more pressure upon the linebackers and defensive backs to make plays. And then when they have to come in and compensate for the linebackers, then the defense is just shot. So once again, this is not, it's not the greatest thing to happen. No, it's not ideal that you would want this to happen. Absolutely not. But it's here and it's happened and it's real, and it will affect the team moving forward. Now, how many wins do you think that they'll get up out of this now? Do I still think that they can get 8 to 10 wins with the talent that they have? Yes, because they have raw talent on that roster. I still do believe that they can get 8 to 10 wins out of this roster on paper as it is. Will that be good enough to make the top 12? I'm assuming so with a Coach Prime team in the Big 12. Yes, that will be good enough to make the college football playoff system next year. But I want to know what people think, and you can tell me down in the comments exactly what you think, because I don't think that this is a good thing, losing a defensive coordinator like this and having to learn a whole new system. I'll keep harping on that. Y'all heard me say it again and again and again. But for now, that's all I got. I'll be back with another one. I hope that y'all like, share, subscribe. Appreciate the support. Peace out.